Hello guys! Welcome to the AllRasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar, episode 201. In the previous episode, we saw Luo Feng take revenge on the person who had killed Huyanbo in the past. After killing King Devil Hand, Luo Feng also went to Ice Prison Planet, where he searched for the third Heavenly Soul Crystal inherited from Master Zuoshan Ke. At that time, Luo Feng had indeed succeeded in obtaining the Heavenly Soul Crystal, but his actions were discovered by the leader of the Doku race. In the end, Luo Feng was thrown into a place known as the Ice Hell Prison, a place known as a slaughterhouse for criminals. So, how did Luo Feng's adventure unfold in this dangerous place? Okay, without further ado, let's get straight to the story. After entering the Ice Hell Prison, Luo Feng appeared to fall from a great height. Upon landing inside the Ice Hell Prison, Luo Feng encountered an endless expanse of ice. When he set foot there, he immediately felt a tremendous oppressive force, along with the space constantly shaking. In this location, which was filled with mysterious power, even detection devices could not function normally. No wonder the Ice Hell Prison was also said to be a sealing treasure, equivalent to the sealed star. In his current condition, Luo Feng was completely unable to use God Country transmission teleportation to escape from that place. Well, even so, at least Luo Feng could still connect to the virtual universe. Rather than staying put in that place, Luo Feng then began exploring the endless Iceland. Midway through his journey, Luo Feng was suddenly attacked, but he managed to dodge the attack by jumping upward. The attack was carried out by a black, four-legged creature with a pair of wings known as the Soul-Swallowing Beast. It is said that this creature possesses a secret technique that can rival that of the Moshe clan. At the very least, the appearance of this creature made Luo Feng's journey less boring because he had been walking for 2 days without seeing any sign of life. Luo Feng told his enemy that he needed a guide who could give him some information. Seeing that Luo Feng was not afraid and appeared so calm, his enemies considered him an arrogant human. Of course, in the end, the fight between them could not be stopped. While the enemy attempted to tear Luo Feng apart with its claws, he dodged every attack and asked why they had to kill each other when he only wanted to talk. To match Luo Feng's speed, the enemy used short-range teleportation, almost allowing it to devour Luo Feng. Unfortunately, when trying to bite Luo Feng, the enemy's sharp teeth broke because they bit Shiwu's wings. When the enemy released its swallowing technique, Luo Feng released the Soul Blade Beast God technique, instantly dealing damage to the enemy, which he then crushed. When the enemy he thought was dead began to fade away like a projection, Luo Feng realized that what he had just fought was only a clone of the soul-swallowing beast, not its real body. Long story short, some time had passed since Luo Feng set foot in Ice Hell. During that time, he often encountered clones of the soul-swallowing beast, which seemed to want to test Luo Feng's strength and greatly disturbed him. In addition to the beast, there was also another enemy, the Kawu race. This enemy was very strange because as soon as it saw Luo Feng, it immediately burned its divine body and attacked frantically. Even though its power was still far below Luo Feng's, it still dared to fight back. It also abruptly yelled about emancipation and other such things before finally blowing itself up while laughing. Babata felt that this creature might have gone completely mad due to the psychological pressure inside this ice prison. In addition to enemies, Luo Feng also found a large monument engraved with writings from the demon race that provided him with some information. It is said that, since the last massacre until now, the Ice Hell Prison has held about 12,000 immortals from foreign races, among whom there is only one winner who can leave the prison. This means that the creatures trapped in Ice Hell, if they want to stay alive, must continue to fight. An endless battle between life and death. This is what Master Zuoshan Ke had mentioned earlier, the path that Luo Feng was forced to choose. After reading the inscription on the monument, Luo Feng unexpectedly received a sudden attack from below the surface, where iron chains began to appear, their attacks aimed at Luo Feng. The attack forced Luo Feng to move quickly and dodge every incoming attack. Seeing the source of the attack, Luo Feng found a large figure who appeared to be focused on controlling the iron tentacles from a distance. Once the target was locked on, Luo Feng fought back. He unleashed a long-range attack by throwing a sealed star ball along with a beast god punch, causing the enemy to be pushed back and crash into a monument. But Luo Feng immediately realized that the enemy could dodge his attack and suddenly appeared behind him. Before the enemy could land a heavy blow, Luo Feng used the space lockband, which instantly distorted the surrounding area, and then counterattacked, landing the sky-tearing claw, instantly cutting the enemy's body to pieces and finishing the attack with his sword technique, Bright Moon Policy. The enemy came back to life while crying, clearly showing that she no longer wanted to fight. Before Luo Feng could tear her apart again, the enemy revealed that she only wanted to obtain an anonymous account that could log into the virtual universe, which she believed Luo Feng must have. As long as it could connect to the virtual universe and the outside world, this creature was willing to do anything Luo Feng wanted. Luo Feng told it that he did not have the anonymous account it wanted. However, if the plant creature could provide useful information, Luo Feng would let it go alive. Hearing this, the creature finally gave Luo Feng the information that this place was ruled by Tian Lang, one of the 5 invincible immortal kings in the Ice Hell prison. There were 863 people on the list of the top power rankings there. The center of the ice prison was an ice sea, a place surrounded by 4 regions, namely the East Ice Prison, West Ice Prison, North Ice Prison, and South Ice Prison. The 5 strongest figures each ruled one region, and their respective powers had reached that of the invincible immortal king. Besides these 5, there are a total of 10 powerful limit immortal kings below them. That is roughly how the regions and power are divided in the Ice Hell prison. This means that if Luo Feng wants to escape from there, he must fight powerful enemies who are on par with his own master, Zhen Yan. Outside the prison, the prisoners began to move around, some alone, some in groups. They had heard news of a new human entering Ice Hell prison and believed that this human must have an anonymous account connected to the virtual universe. Therefore, even though their search would be quite dangerous, as long as they could obtain the anonymous account, it would be a worthwhile reward. However, after searching for a considerable amount of time, they still hadn't managed to find the human in question. Unbeknownst to them, Luo Feng was actually training in an underground cave, a place that Babata found quiet and very boring. The situation was also quite strange. Why did the Ice Hell prisoners want so badly to log into the virtual universe, which belonged to the human race, making Luo Feng a target? Fortunately, there was a mini detection device that could block enemy detection and make Luo Feng's presence difficult to locate. It is known that the Ice Hell prison is filled with warriors from the powerful demon race, and to face them, Luo Feng must deepen his understanding of the beast god statue based on the perspective of the golden horn behemoth, prioritizing telekinesis on the beast god's tail, and then creating a new technique that can be combined with the star diagram, and the name of the technique is called the 10,000 Star Sermon Map. Luo Feng also received some advice from the Chaos City Lord. The master said that Luo Feng's mastery of telekinetic weapons was very high, but in battle there would be many variables, so the Chaos City Lord told Luo Feng to fight 10 times in the real world first. After that, they would meet again to see the results. Even though Luo Feng had undergone the beast god statue's understanding, the combat warrior type and the mental master type were 2 different paths. Even the greatest geniuses would only focus on mastering one path. If Luo Feng continued to divide his focus between the 2 paths, the Chaos City Lord was sure that Luo Feng would suffer some losses. After practicing for quite some time, Luo Feng finally emerged from his hiding place. However, upon exiting, Luo Feng immediately challenged the prisoners who wanted to fight him, expecting them to reveal themselves immediately. After issuing his challenge, the prisoners who felt the vibrations around them and the emergence of Luo Feng's powerful energy fluctuations began to move. They knew that this power came from the human they were targeting. The same was true for the 10 Limit Immortal Kings and 5 Invincible Immortal Kings, who were also searching for Luo Feng. So the prisoners below the Limit Immortal King level could not immediately take the reckless step of attacking. The first figure to appear before Luo Feng was King Lightning Racing, one of the 10 most powerful Limit Immortal Kings, who was skilled in using the laws of time and lightning. He believed that Luo Feng was destined to die at his hands. The other prisoners who were watching also felt that Luo Feng, a human who was about to face King Lightning, would suffer a great loss. It was said that King Lightning had hunted down thousands of immortal warriors in the ice prison, making him now ranked 12th among all creatures in the ice prison. The duel began, with King Lightning trying to close in and attack. Luo Feng, on the other hand, chose to avoid his attacks first. Because King Lightning had the laws of time and lightning at his disposal, Luo Feng tried to keep his distance from his enemy. In this battle, Luo Feng has the advantage in terms of speed, but his opponent uses the law of lightning to move faster, catching up with Luo Feng's movements and unleashing his first technique, the Thunder God's Stomp, attacking with his 2 front legs. Luo Feng's golden barrier did not shatter when it received the attack. However, Luo Feng's body was thrown violently onto the surface, creating a large hole. The enemy could also launch long-range attacks, using 2 long whips in both hands to whip Luo Feng repeatedly with those weapons. However, with the golden barrier and Shi Wu's wing defense, Luo Feng did not take any damage at all. Trying to fight back, Luo Feng used the Beast God's tail attack with the star diagram. But Luo Feng's attack was immediately shattered by the enemy's lightning whip, and the battle continued. On the other hand, one of the Ka-2 race prisoners, who was watching the fight from a distance, felt a pressure that made him shiver. That terrifying power came from one of the 5 strongest invincible immortal kings, Silver Eye, or Yin Mo, who ordered the Ka-2 race to get out of his way and not interfere with the fight. Immediately after the Ka-2 race departed, Silver Eye began moving toward where the duel was taking place. Back to Luo Feng, who kept his distance throughout the battle, making his enemies extremely annoyed with him. According to King Lightning, Luo Feng was completely helpless except to run away. However, when he lost track of his target, King Lightning found that his target was already in a higher position than himself while preparing a technique from the 10,000 Star Sermon Map series, namely the first technique called Lightning Fast Striking Star. In the first technique of the 10,000 Star Sermon Map series, Luo Feng used 16 sealed stars and formed a beast god projection body with lightning power in his body. The arrogant King Lightning said he could stop Luo Feng's technique with a single move, but when he collided directly with Luo Feng's new technique, he was pushed back so hard that his stomach was punctured. Seeing King Lightning's pitiful condition, Luo Feng said, "So that's all the power the strongest 10 Limit Immortal King has." With one new technique from Luo Feng, King Lightning could be killed in one strike. Even though he could come back to life, King Lightning, who was no match for Luo Feng, intended to leave. Of course, Luo Feng did not let him go so easily and launched another attack from a distance. Unable to escape, King Lightning ultimately chose to burn his divine body to face Luo Feng seriously. King Lightning, who had burned his divine body, turned around and resumed his battle with Luo Feng. The spectators from a distance who were interested in the duel thought that since King Lightning had burned his divine body and continued the battle, Luo Feng would have to do the same in order to match his power. Unfortunately for Luo Feng, who was still at the World Master level, he ran away from his enemy instead of continuing the fight. Luo Feng showed his true flying speed, a speed that King Lightning, who was fighting seriously, could not match. From this, the prisoners realized that this man's speed was probably the fastest in the Ice Hell prison. Even though the enemy had burned his divine body, the target had fled from the battle. Of course, King Lightning was extremely angry that his sacrifice had been in vain, so he vented his anger by destroying the ice ground beneath him. However, something strange happened when the Iceland and Ice Pillars were destroyed after receiving the explosive effects of King Lightning Racing's attack. Suddenly, the entire battle site returned to its original state. One thing he was certain of was that a fluctuation in the power of the reverse time law had been activated, meaning that Luo Feng would soon die. At the same time, King Lightning began to move away from the battle site. Back with Luo Feng, while flying again, he did not expect to be blocked by a horned figure who demanded that he immediately hand over anonymous accounts of the virtual universe. That way, he would let Luo Feng leave alive. The sharp ice that appeared on the surface indicated that the space around Luo Feng had been locked, and Babata considered that Luo Feng was now in serious danger because, before him, now appeared Silver Eye, the ruler of the Northern Ice Prison, a figure at the level of invincible Immortal King. Silver Eye was also a rare entity, as he was an expert in both the laws of time and space. Even though the creature had no eyes, Luo Feng felt that he was being watched by countless gazes. However, Luo Feng had never faced an invincible Immortal King before. Yet, in the presence of Silver Eye, Luo Feng felt that he would not die when facing such a powerful enemy. Issuing a challenge, Luo Feng stated that he had an anonymous account, and if Silver Eye wished, he could take it himself. The battle in the next episode was inevitable. Then, what happened next? Okay, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.